Hello, Internet friends. This is Danielle Pierce, creator of Real Estate Profit Lab and founder of Property Preservation Mastery. I am here on time. Aren't you guys excited? I am. No excuses today. No delays in talking to you guys tonight at 7 o'clock about our latest campaign. So I'm super happy about that. As always, come into the room, say hello. Let me know how you guys are doing today. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you're brand new to the channel, hopefully you'll stick around, hit the like, subscribe, and share button. We definitely appreciate it. We do occasionally do some campaigns where we delete the videos right after the end of the campaign. That is not the case this time. So we definitely would appreciate you guys sharing this particular video, especially with those folks who are looking for recession-proof ways to generate six figures or more over the next 12 to 18 months, that are willing to start a business, put in the work, and are open to working with subcontractors to make that happen. So we do appreciate you guys hitting the like, subscribe, and share button. All right. I mentioned before that I like to start the videos off with highs and lows. So I actually got a few highs that I want to share with you guys today. All right. So let me think of the first one. First one is my microblading in 3D brow shading, I think is what it's called, has turned out wonderfully. I'm so excited about it. My eyebrows no longer look super angry and frustrated. For a while, my team-member would walk up to me and she kind of get real close to me like that. And she would say, "Are you angry?" She was like, "Are you mad? But you look different." And she couldn't quite figure out what it was. So that is faded and it's shaded and it's the appropriate color now. So I'm happy about that. I managed to mix the perfect shade of red today between my MAC Ruby Woo, which I know the ladies will know about. The guys probably don't know about the Ruby Woo. So I mixed that with my purple, my favorite color. So I got the perfect shade of red. And what's another high? I had this amazing food yesterday at Trivoli in West Loop. It was like, what did I get? Salmon and branzino and the best drinks. And they were out of cornbread, so I was salty about that. Truffle mac and cheese. I was like, this is the best food ever. One of the things I really, really love about Chicago. So subsequently, the low is that all of that good food and probably too many drinks got me a little bit sluggish today. So if I seem a little down, that's the reason for that. So that's my highs and lows. You guys be sure to share yours as well below in the comments or in the live chat if you're watching this live. Certainly appreciate hearing from you guys and being able to respond to those, to what's happening in your life. All right, so we are back with day, I think this is day 3, no, day 4 of our 7-day campaign. And this is property preservation, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Wanted to give people a comprehensive overview of what the industry is actually like from an insider's perspective, both the benefits and the drawbacks. Of course, we've shared lots of success stories and testimonials over the last several years, and in particularly during the last 12 months or so, we've had a lot of people that have made some really amazing strides. But of course, there's also, disadvantages to the industry as well. So I wanted to make sure that I talk about those specifically in this campaign. I know that a lot of you love to see the success stories, but there's still a lingering question in the back of your mind, like, will this actually work for me? I don't know. So that's the purpose of this campaign. We talked about dealing with we talked about property preservation versus tax liens versus flipping versus buy and hold. Yesterday, we talked about dealing with tips to avoid losing your contract to shady contractors. And today, I want to address just incompetent contractors. So people that you've brought onto your team. And everybody says that they know how to do everything when you hire them, right? That's kind of like a thing with contractors. They say, "Oh, I've been building houses from the ground up, for 20 years. I used to help my father do this," or "My uncle has been in the real estate his whole life," and they have these very comprehensive viewpoints around what they can actually do. And then sometimes it doesn't quite pan out that way. So that's what we're talking about today. So I do want to make it clear, yes, you can start this business, generate 5K, well, 3 to 5K during the first 6 months, 5 to 7K, 7 to 10K. We do have a couple students who've hit that $10,000 mark during the course of the pandemic, but also that it does require a significant level of hard work, following our blueprint, and being able to be consistent. I think that it's my thought that Inconsistency is what kills so many of our dreams. And we kind of blame it on a bunch of different things. We'll say things like, oh, this didn't work out. I didn't have any family support. My husband did this, or wife did this. People were talking about me. We have a lot of different reasons behind it. But largely what I found is that people are just overall inconsistent, myself included. So if you can be consistent at something, then you have really no choice but to succeed. But a lot of us, when we hit that first roadblock, or the second roadblock, or the third one, we give up. I was listening to one of my motivational guys, I forget who it was, and he said that the average number of times that a person tries something before giving up is less than one. And then I was listening, I was like, well, how the hell is it less than one? And the reason for that is because we literally will talk ourselves out of things before we even give it an actual try in real life. So we have the thought and then we kill it mentally before it can ever go anywhere. So those of you who are thinking about preservation and you've been on the fence for a few years or a few months and you just like, I don't know if this is going to work for me. So I really want you to pay close attention to this particular set of videos as opposed to all the testimonials and the student interviews. All right. So today, again, we're talking about incompetent contractors. So I wanted to give you some tips on how to address that. Rule number one is this. Probably not going to like this rule, but here it is. If you don't like what you're seeing in your contractors, look to see where you may have dropped the ball first. So I know you're probably listening to this like, oh my gosh, this is not what I wanted to hear. It is really never what I want to hear either. But as my business partner, Thomas, will tell you, has told me many, many times, if you don't like the output, then you have to check the input. Also applies in relationships too, believe it or not. So if you're looking at your contractors and you're like, why are they so incompetent? Why are they so bad? Why don't they follow instructions? You have to look to see what the set of instructions that you've actually given them. So with that in mind, one of the tools that I would suggest that you do is to create a set of video tutorials. And this will be for things like the maid services, grass cuts, snow removals, lock changes, winterizations, inspection requirements, and installing lock boxes. And so what you'll do with these videos is you'll put them on YouTube in a private playlist that's only accessible to folks that you actually give the link to. The videos should not be long. They should be literally, honestly, 3 minutes or less to keep people's attention span. Put captions on the videos, and then that will be like the first thing that you'll direct your contractors to when you bring them on board. I'd also recommend creating a separate playlist for your company policies and procedures around things like receiving their first check, receiving their last check, failing to complete work orders all the way through or completing them incorrectly, and then just the general photo requirements. And you want to be as specific as you can. I've mentioned this over and over with photo requirements, but don't assume anything. Don't assume that how just saying things like before, during, and after photos is going to be understood in the way that we need it to be understood inside of the industry. I do recommend a live field training session. So of course, everybody wants to work from their living room, work at home, never leave the house. I know that is kind of in my lifestyle for the last, it's been a while now, 7 years or so, roughly. But the reality is that sometimes you do have to get into the field, and it's beneficial for some folks, especially those who are more tactile learners, to actually see things, in person in real life versus watching a video. It doesn't have to be an all-day training. I think you could probably get it done in an hour and a half or 2 hours or so, but consider doing something like that. It can even be a group training. So maybe it's you and 1 to 3 contractors, and you're just walking them through just the very basic work items that they'll be doing. Because a lot of times what you'll do in this industry is the same things over and over and over and over and over. So lock changes are never going to go anywhere. Board ups, winterizations, installing a lock box, the inspection requirements. So you want to get your contractors into the habit of when they see something like, okay, go take photos for an exterior or a drive-by inspection, or go take photos for an interior inspection, they know exactly which photos to take from which angles without having to constantly reach back out to you. The better you make your training documents, the less interaction you'll have to have with the contractors. That has been a harsh reality that I've had to face over the years, because it's so easy to just blame the other person and have, this third party be at fault. But at the end of the day, you guys, this is your business, and no one is going to care about your business as much as you do. All right. Once you have, I'm forgetting a step. Oh, So in addition to the training videos, consider doing PDF documents of all the videos and put them into a contractor folder. You could use something like Google Drive, and then that'll be where contractors will go for ongoing access. You know, like Google Drive, there's Dropbox, there's the thing for Apple, which I don't know what it's called, but there's multiple options for cloud storage. So I recommend doing something like that where they can have continuous ongoing access to it. And then once all of that is complete, I do recommend sending over, it could be a one-page DocuSign agreement that just says, hey, please sign here indicating that you have received and reviewed the training materials. Now, of course, you cannot police grown folks. A lot of folks will sign that document just so they can get paid and move on with their lives without ever having watched any of the videos or read any of the PDF documents. But that's really not your concern, because at the end of the day, you can't control that. You can only control the processes that you have in place. So I do like the idea of having them sign off on a DocuSign agreement, just attesting that, you know, hey, I've read this, I've watched these videos, I know what to do, put me in the game. As you change things, which you will change things continuously throughout the course of the starting and scaling your business, you should send out updated videos and updated PDF documents and a new DocuSign agreement. If you pay attention, once you start partnering with the preservation companies, this is exactly how they operate. When they change their pricing structure, when they change their turnaround times, when they change their insurance requirements, they send out an email blast. And ultimately, they'll send out maybe 3 email blasts, and they'll finally say, well, hey, we sent out these email blasts. Moving forward, you know, it's understood that you grasp the changes that we've made and you agree with them. So your agreement is kind of implicit. So that's how they operate. So I recommend that you do the same for your company. And then the last thing I want to say about this is that you want to assess the difference between a contractor that truly does not know versus one that just does not give a damn. And there's a pretty simple ways to do that. So if you see consistent pushback, attitude, or indifference, a lot of times it's easy to let those things slide. But what I found is that you would want to address it immediately versus letting it kind of get swept under the rug and just like, you know, they give you an attitude and then you tell them what you want them to do, and you hang up and you complain to like your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your coworker or whomever, as opposed to addressing it immediately with the person that presented that attitude or indifference or pushback. You want to get a sense of, were they aware that they were being a little bit indifferent or disrespectful, or were they having a bad day? You want to address that right away. Never let those things slide. Ask for their feedback as much as you possibly can to make sure that they feel heard. What I found over the past couple of years, really in doing a lot of work around my communication and my judgmental ways and all the things that are wrong. Well, I shouldn't say wrong with me, but all the consistent issues that I've had to contend with over the course of the last 41 years is that a lot of people just simply want to be heard or feel like you hear them versus being told what to do and being dismissed. Many folks just simply want somebody to listen. Whether you agree, whether you do the things they want you to do or not, they want to be heard. So when you're dealing with contractors, and although it is in kind of a subordinate relationship, right? They're working with you, you still need them and vice versa. So you want to make sure that you create the environment of it being a partnership versus one to where it's like, oh, well, you one of my workers and you got to do what I say, because nobody has to do anything, right? I wanted to also talk about, if you see continued pushback, outright disrespect, or blatant indifference, those are the people that you're going to have to let go. I see many of our students inside of the Facebook group, you know, the students talk to each other from around the country, and they'll say things like, hey, this contractor did this. I really want to fire them. What do you think I should do? Another scenario where it was a young lady and she said that the contractor basically faked the work, but she got paid for it anyway. So, you know, he was able to get away with it. Obviously, he has a lot of experience in faking work, right? And so she wanted to know whether she should pay him what she was supposed to pay him or not. And again, she did get paid the full amount that she was supposed to, but technically she should not have, because he didn't really do the work. So those situations kind of tie back into what we talked about yesterday, which is, you know, contractors can actually cause you quite a bit of harm over the course of launching your business. So you want to first confirm that these things are indeed intentional versus just assuming. And you just do that by just simply asking a question. Hey, you're supposed to go to the property to do this. Example, you're supposed to go to the property to take all the debris out of the property and dispose of it. I noticed these things were left in the garage, right? I noticed these things were left in the alley, or I noticed these things were left inside of the trash cans. All those things are no-nos, by the way. And you ask them, so, hey, did you know this was here? Did you know this was supposed to be removed? Was this intentional? And if you decide or you get the sense that they have intentionally tried to deceive you, that is someone that you want to fire immediately. And this is true whether or not you have a replacement, regardless of how much work you have in your queue, regardless of how long you've had your contract. You want to sever those relationships as early as possible in the process, because if they are willing to deceive you and lie to you about doing a clean out and things like that, there's no saving a relationship like that. All right. That is a sad reality, y'all, and it is going to happen, right? It is absolutely going to happen to where you'll be working with a contractor and you will find someone at some point will try to get over on you. All right. Those are my best tips for dealing with those particular situations. Again, please go back and watch the other videos in this good, bad, and ugly series. They are extremely helpful. First video we talked about dealing with shady contractors. And we talked about preservation versus tax liens versus flipping versus buy and hold in terms of which personality types and really how much cash and credit you should have in place before deciding upon which real estate niche you want to specialize in. And then over the next couple of days, we'll talk about work orders with zero profits or kind of low profit margins. That's a part of the industry as well. And then we'll talk about navigating companies that refuse to pay you. So I'm really excited about those last two topics because, again, these are the questions that people ask over and over and over. So I wanted to be able to provide, honest and insightful feedback about these situations as you encounter them in real life, because it is going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. If you guys are on our email list, you received a discount code. We've been in a really giving mood lately, so we've been offering some pretty significant discounts over the course of the past several days. So if you're on our email list, check your inbox and your spam folder for that discount code. It expires at midnight, so if you miss it, you'll have to wait. I don't know what the discount amount will be for tomorrow. It may be more, it won't be more. It might be less. So if you've been thinking about it and you're thinking that it's going to eventually be higher, I can assure you that it will not. The discount will not increase, and if anything, it will actually decrease or go away altogether. So please be sure to check your inbox and your spam folder for that particular discount code. Tune in tomorrow night, 7:00 Central Standard Time, where Central is a Central Daylight Time. I have one of my attorney friends, and she is like a Nazi about CST versus CDT, Central Standard Time versus Central Daylight Time. I don't know which one it's supposed to be, but just 7:00 Chicago time. I'll say it that way. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at that time. And then, as always, sending you guys love, light, peace, blessings, grace, and clarity. Until next time. All right, bye-bye.